Hello everybody, this is Lucas and welcome back to another HTML tutorial. So in the last video we discussed how we can add text into our web page. So we discussed headings, paragraphs, and then a couple of other things as well. So let's firstly add ourselves a paragraph, and then we'll do this is a paragraph. And now we can see, if we go back to our page, we refresh this, you can see we have a paragraph. But now in this video, I'm going to show you how we can alter or edit this text a little bit. So we've seen in the last video that we can use the pre right here that we have, and we can have line breaks in here. So if we go hello, then we do my name is Lucas. Now we save that, we go back to our web page, we refresh this, you can see we can have our line breaks like this. But this isn't the best way to do it. We can use something a bit better that are called line breaks. So line breaks are basically like an empty tag. So you can see the paragraph element, we need to start the paragraph, and then we need to tell it where to end. But with the break element, we don't actually need to have the ending tag. So if I want to have a line break, let's say in here, all we have to do is do br, and that's it. We just have to write the br element like the p for a paragraph, but we do not actually have to close it. Now if we save that and we refresh this, you can see we have this is, and then we have our line break, and then it goes on to the next line. This is, and then we have a line break, a paragraph. So that's one way that we can add line breaks, is by just doing the br element. Now let's say I want to have some text of this in bold. So I like the way this paragraph is looking, but I want to have this word as a bold. So all we have to do is we have to do B, but we also have to now close it as well, because we need to tell it where do we want the bold element to end. And if we insert the paragraph inside of the bold elements here, then we save that, we go back to our web page, and if we refresh it, you can see this text is normal, but now the paragraph text is bold because the paragraph is inside of this bold element here. So that's why we can add bold text just by declaring it as B. Now the one thing I will say, if we remove the P's, we save that and then we go back, it will still be displayed as bold, but it is better to have it inside of the P, inside of the paragraph. It's just a bit better, so I recommend you doing it that way. So the next thing that I'll go through, it's called the horizontal rule. Now what the horizontal rule is, it basically shows you where a certain paragraph or a topic might end or begin. So if we add a HR here, and let's just add ourselves another paragraph after this, then we'll do P, this is the second paragraph. So now you can see we have two paragraphs. We have the first one and then we have the second one, and then splitting both of them we have the horizontal rule. So now if I save this, and if I go back to the web page, if I refresh this, you can see that the horizontal rule basically just adds this line, and it allows to split certain topics that you might want. So this could be topic 1, then we have the horizontal rule, and here we can move on to any second topic that we have, which is very useful. So that's a horizontal rule basically. Now let's say I want to, let's get rid of this firstly. Let's say I want to use quotes. So I want to tell somebody that is reading my webpage that somebody said this. So it's a quote that somebody has said. So how do we add quotes? So the first thing is we could just do this. We save this, and then we can have one here. We don't want the quotes to be in bold, so we will place them outside of the bold. We save that. Go back to our page, and you can see we have the quotes at the start and at the end. There is another way that we can do this. So instead of the quotes, all we need to do is do Q. And Q is just for quotes. And what this does, anything inside of this will be quoted. So if we take all of this here, I'm going to remove the bold because it might just confuse a few people. But let's say we have this text and we want to put quotes around this. So if I put this inside of here, so I'm in the paragraph, but then I'm also in the quotes. Now if I save this and if I go back to my web page, I refresh this, you can see that it added the quotes in here as well. So there's two ways of doing it. We can add the Q element, or we can just add normal double quotes. This is completely up to you. I usually add the quote element. I just feel like it's a bit better. Now if you watched the last video, you've seen that we can't actually add spaces in our paragraph. So if I add a lot of spaces in this paragraph, and if I save, if we go back, you can see that those spaces get ignored. So if there's more than one space, it will get ignored and it will just say it's one space. But let's say for some reason we want to have more than one space in our paragraph. So there's a couple of ways of doing it. So in the last video I've shown you one way of doing it, and that's by just using the pretty. So we can do this, and then we can have, we can have a lot of spaces here. Just some random text. If you go back to here, you can see we have the text and then we have a lot of spaces in between. But let's say we don't want to use a pre and we just want to use the normal P paragraph. There is one other way that we can do this. So let's say after the A, we want to add another space. So we have a space here already, but we want to add ourselves another space. So the way we'll do this is we'll do and, so the and character, and then we'll do NB, NB, and then we do SP. All this will do is it will add ourselves another space. So if I refresh this, you can see now we have actually more than one space because we added this in. We could add a few more. So we could add a couple more like this, and you can see we are adding more spaces the more of these that we add in. So that's the way that we can add a space if we're using the paragraph. It's very useful. Now the very last thing that I will show you in this video is how we can comment. So commenting is very important in all languages because we always need to write some comments as we code along. Now if you're watching my Java tutorial series, in Java all we do to comment is we do these two symbols, but in HTML it is different. So this is what we need to add. Okay, so we add these two characters here, and then we do two of these, and then you can see straight away we have the comment. Now everything inside of here will be commented out, and it will not be actual code. So we can have ourselves a paragraph in here, but because we have it commented out, you'll see if I go back into our page, you can see it is not displayed. The reason it's not displayed is because we have commented it out. And then I can just write, this is a comment. So I can have Anthony in here, and it will not be displayed on the web page. So if I save that and if I refresh it, you can see it is not displayed. So this is the way that we can write comments in HTML. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a very short one, but I hope it helped, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.